speak. My name is Patricia LaFour. I'm the Director of Human Rights and Accessibility for the City of Worcester, and I have the Chair, Bob Bureau, of this commission. He can make some opening comments.
Thank you, Patricia. My name is Bob Bureau. I'm the Chair of the Commission, and we've had the call to order. Do we need to do a roll call to ascertain that we do in fact have a quorum?
Yes, we do.
Who is here and who is not? Okay, that'd be great.
So roll call of the members present, please. Please identify yourself by name, please, since everybody's virtual, so we're clear on who's here and who isn't. Chair Robert Bureau.
Here, Robert Bureau.
Vice Chair Elizabeth Miska, who's absent, a planned absence. Member John Finn.
Finn here.
Member D. Karuna. Member Steven Stolberg.
Steve here.
Member Kate McGrath.
Kate McGrath here.
Okay, so we have enough for a quorum. I yield back to the chair to run the agenda.
Thank you. The next order on the agenda is number 2, which is a moment of silence for Accessibility Advisory Commission member Joe Percillo. He was the former chair of this commission and served for many, many years. He recently passed away on September 20th, 2025. There was a link in the agenda for the obituary. Just on a personal note, he was a very good friend of mine, and I deeply admired his commitment to the field of accessibility and disability rights, and he will be greatly missed by this commission and by me personally. So if we could have a moment of silence, I'd appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you very much. Joe would have wanted us to continue on, and he would have wanted us to carry on his legacy of just a powerful involvement in the field of disability rights and accessibility. He was involved in so many things. I'm going to miss him terribly. We'll move on to the next agenda item, which is number 3. To approve the meeting minutes of September 16th, 2025. Those were distributed. Does any of the members of the commission have any changes they'd like to make or additions to it? Okay, not hearing any. Do I have a motion from a commission member to approve the minutes, and the second, and then we'll do a roll call vote?
John Finn, I make a motion that we approve the minutes.
Thank you, John. Is there a second?
It's Kate McGrath. I second the motion to approve the minutes.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone. So we have a motion to approve the minutes as presented for September 16th, 2025, made by member John Finn, seconded by Kate McGrath. I'll go through the roll call of the vote, please. Chair Bob Bureau.
Aye.
Member John Finn.
Aye.
Member Steve Stolberg.
Aye.
Member Kate McGrath.
Kate McGrath, aye.
The motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up on the agenda is a park update on construction upgrades and the master plans. Rob Antonelli, the Parks Commissioner, is with us, and welcome him and look forward to hearing from him. We have about a half hour set aside for this.
Great, thank you very much. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. Pat, can I share my screen?
You should be able to share, Rob. It just gets to be a little bit touchy when we're virtual with the ASL interpreter, but let's see how it goes.
All righty.
There you go.
All right, everybody can see that?
If you could hold for just one moment, Sue's looking for the interpreter on the screen.
All right, let's do it this way. Can everybody still see that?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, I'll just do it this way instead of going into presentation mode.
I'm sorry. Unfortunately, that doesn't help Sue to see the interpreter. If you could spotlight the interpreter, she would be able to see both the presentation and the interpreter.
Okay, how do I do that?
I did it, Rob.
Okay,
All set.
That
Thank you
works.
so much.
okay, so I'd like to start and thank everybody for having us here today. I have a number of my staff that are here as well. Tim Boucher, who's does most of our building work, and then Cesar Valiente and Bill Richards, that's our project managers. They're here to really talk about, or I'm here to talk about our construction projects and where we stand with a number of improvements in our public parks. And so I'll go through those, and after each one, if there's any questions, I'm happy to take them then, or would you like me to wait to the end, Pat or Bob?
No, you can do whatever way you want to do it. It's fine.
Yeah, I think sometimes it's easier to take questions after you go through each section.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So this is the list that we're going to be going through, a number of items, and then we'll get into each of them individually now. So the first one is Green Hill Park Community Garden. This project has been completed and includes about 100 and so different beds for community gardening. And there's 8 divided by, so there's like 16 individual accessible beds within this area, including accessible parking and overall just sort of designed out that it's completely accessible throughout the entire project. And we're really excited about this. We just opened it up, but we're not going to be taking applications until this winter. And this winter we'll take applications and we'll look to implement and operate this in the spring of 2026. Be happy to take any questions. One of the other things we did do is at the bottom where it says parking, there's an area down there that was never accessible before. And there's a historic wall that was part of the Green family mansion. We've actually made that wall accessible with accessible seating and companion seating in that area. So that area now is accessible for anybody that may have a mobility issue or have access constraints there as well. So we've really tried to work hard to make as much of this very topographical challenge location friendly to all. I'd be happy to take any questions if there are any. All right, not seeing any. We'll go to the next one, University Park. This is our third spray park that came into operation this spring. It is completely accessible. We've included on the right-hand side where you'll see parking, there is an accessible parking space there as well. This location, if anybody knows it, there's is a very grade challenge or topographical challenge area. And so we built in that single parking space for accessibility purposes. The remainder of the site is completely accessible and accessible throughout the entire park for that area. Operated this summer, great success, and we were looking for a full season in the summer of 2026. Be happy to take any questions if there are anything. Not hearing any, we'll move on to the next one. This is the Lincoln Square Memorial. It's in front of the auditorium and the old boys club building. We have actually dismantled this entire location. If anybody remembers it from before, there were 4 or 5 steps that didn't allow access to the memorial for anybody that had a mobility issue or challenge. And so to assist in the build out of the Boys and Girls Club building, or the Boys Club building, we dismantled this as part of a project and we'll be reconstructing it. And what you see here is the rendering of what we will have. It will be completely accessible at that point. We will have no steps. The whispering wall will still be there. The flagpole will be there. The walkways will all be there, but we've actually dropped the entire area down so that accessibility is easy into and out of the memorial itself. So this will be completed. We'll start reconstruction in the fall of 2026 for sometime in the summer of 27 completion. Could be fall of 27 as well. Here's another perspective. And then another perspective. And so the building, you see there, the black glass building on the right-hand side is the new building that is currently being built there by Wynn Construction. And so they needed space to be able to build that, and the reconstruction of this project sort of coincides with that so that they had space to be able to build their building. I'd be happy to take any questions if there are any. All right, not seeing any. Next project is Tacoma Street Playground. This project is currently under construction as we speak. We anticipate completion by June of 2026. It includes a synthetic turf athletic field for soccer, lacrosse, women's lacrosse, and field hockey, new accessible playground, another spray park that will be fully accessible, and then an open lawn area and with all the pathways accessible as well, and a dog park. So this facility, again, will brand new parking as well. So this facility will open up in the summer, late spring, early summer of 2026. Happy to take any questions if anybody has any. All right, moving on. Our Great Brook Valley project. This is the complete renovation of a softball field. It's a adult men's softball field over near Great Brook Valley Apartments. This project will include all new parking on the site, as well as the renovations of the softball field, which will be accessible, which all of the spaces will be fully accessible. It is a grass facility, but all of the hardscape is fully accessible and connects in with the majority of the other areas there and the parking lot area. So this project has already started construction, and we will complete this in June of 26 and most likely open sometime in July of 26. Happy to take any questions.
Yeah, I had a question on that. Is that lighting for nighttime as well?
Yes, this has, so if you go back to Tacoma, if I go back one here, Tacoma has sports field lighting, as does the softball field has sports field lighting as well. And then there's lighting in the parking lot as well.
Is there restrooms there as well or no?
There are no restrooms, but we'll have a location for portable toilets that will be able to place in that facility.
Thank you.
Yep. Anything else? All right, next up is the Beaverbrook Dog Park. So this facility, we have two, we're renovating both the dog park at Beaverbrook as well as the dog park at Vernon Hill. What this will entail is the removal of the current dirt grass area in Beaverbrook, and we'll be placing a pea stone gravel area for the dog area, the dog run area. And then we'll also be installing water access at both Vernon Hill and the Beaverbrook Dog Park. At Vernon Hill, we are not replacing the surfacing. We're only replacing the surfacing at Beaverbrook. This project is under construction. We'll start construction November 3rd, and that will move along until completion. It's going to be, probably won't complete both projects until the spring of 2026. But we're going to be working quickly to try to eliminate and address the issues that are here so that we can reopen as quickly as possible. So this is the Vernon Hill project here. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to take any.
Yes, this is Kate. I have a question. When you say gravel, was that the area for the dogs, or is that the path where the people walk to the park?
The pea stone base, rice stone base is for the dog areas.
Oh.
So
Okay.
what happens is that because of overuse, we used to have grass, and the grass is now dirt, and so this is a better product overall for the dogs on that end of it, and so that's it. You'll still have a fully accessible hardscape, asphalt, concrete in regards to your access to the site, and then when you get to inside and when you release the dog, but the dog area will be this pea stone rice stone area.
Thank you for that clarification, Robert. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. All right, our next one is Worcester Common. So
I have a
we'll begin.
question.
Oh,
This
yep,
is-
go ahead.
This is Sue. I have a question.
Yep.
Just 1 second, please, while we switch interpreters. Oh, just 1 moment. First, I'm gonna make sure I have the interpreters switched. Can you spotlight Tracy Hughley? Perfect, perfect. Yes, I have a question. It's a small question. You said that the gravel was like little stones. Is that comfortable for the dogs to play on, with their little paws? I know with dirt and grass, I understand, but with this kind of ground covering, is that good for the dogs? Is it better, more comfortable? What can you tell me?
Sure. So the gravel pea stone that we'll be using is rounded, so it's not sharp, and it's better for the dog. So we're actually using 2 different sizes. One for small dogs, which is a smaller piece of stone. The other is a larger one for the larger dogs. And that's particularly set up that way so that the small stone doesn't get caught in the big dog's paws, and that the little dogs have a little bit more availability in not having to use the bigger stone. So yes, the answer is yes, it's better for the dogs, it's better for the operation of the site, and it won't cause as much of a dirt pile and gross dogs during rainstorms.
Okay, that's worth it. Okay, that's good. That's important. Thank you
You're
for
welcome. Thank you.
for thinking about the small dogs and the big dogs. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So the newest item here is our Worcester Common Franklin Street. So any of you that have been down on the Worcester Common on Franklin Street side, you'll see that the pavers have been deteriorating to a point where there's gaps and the sidewalk is not accessible. This program will renovate the entire length of Franklin Street from the Boy and Turtle to the garage entrance of City Hall. And then we're going to be doing some spot renovations in the front of City Hall and on the Common to make sure that those areas are fully accessible as they were when they were first installed. So this area was completed about 20 years ago, and we are now back trying to replace those and remake those accessible. I'd be happy to
Kate,
take, yes.
yes, Robert, it's Kate McGrath. I have a question. So you
Yep.
mentioned you're gonna fix the pavers from the Turtle Boy statue to the garage in the front of City Hall. What about the tiles that are missing on Front Street by the Common next to City Hall? Are those included in this project?
So are you talking about the ones that are in that walkway in front of the garage entrance?
No, so Front Street, so if you're facing City Hall, there's a bunch of cement blocks, just like Franklin Street. They're also removed. Not as many, but it's still like not completely accessible. It's more on the Front Street side.
Yeah, so we're looking at currently doing the Front Street, Main Street, and Franklin Street side of City Hall and replacing those pavers as well as part of this project.
Okay, so this includes the Front Street. Perfect. I'm very
Yep.
excited to hear this. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And this project is scheduled to begin on November 3rd and looks like it will take approximately a month or two, depending on weather, to be completed. Are there any other questions? All right, not seeing any. Next item is master plan for Lakeview Playground. This location is near Lakeview School, and we're going to be renovating the entire project. It was grant awarded. We actually got a grant for $1 million to complete this project, and it will include a brand new basketball court, brand new playground with poured-in-place rubber surfacing, walkways, shelter, open grass area for the students to play, and we'll actually be working with the Native Plant Initiative for some additional expanded native plant installations on the site as well. We'll add some new trees and some other amenities in there, some benches and picnic tables throughout the site as well. This job will start July 1 of 2026 and will look to be completed by sort of July 1, 2027.
Excuse me, this is the interpreter speaking. It seems that Sue can't see me, that I'm not spotlighted as the main interpreter. Can you spotlight me? I don't know. Now Sue is asking. Can you spotlight the interpreter, please?
I have you spotlighted.
She seems to have the other interpreter with a bigger picture, she's saying. Can we, yeah, first we had the other interpreter. And now I have two interpreters. So I want the one interpreter gone. I just want to see Tracy. I see A1. It's taking up part of my picture. I'm
Okay,
having
I'm
a
gonna,
tough time.
I'm gonna disconnect both of you and see if it works if I do that.
Okay, thank you very much. And then just 1 second. I don't see the interpreters at all now. Okay, wait 1 second. Now I see you. Perfect. That's so much better. Thank you.
Bob, can you hear me? Don?
Yep. Yep.
Where did the grant come from?
The grant came from the National Park Service.
Okay.
So it's a Land and Water Conservation Fund grant.
Is that still in order, or has anything been discarded or whatever?
I'm sorry, I missed that. What was that?
Is that grant still going ahead?
Yes. Yes, we're scheduled. We have the paperwork already signed. We're going to be moving forward with that grant as of July 1 for construction.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Are there any other questions for Lakeview? So that's the list of projects right there. We have a couple of other ones that we are working on. We have the Holmes Field lighting project. We'll be installing lights on the walkways at Holmes Field that will go by the tennis courts and the playground. That will be scheduled and completed this coming year, probably in the next few months, and be up and operational by the end of January, February. And then we have the Blythewood parking lot, which will also be completed. So this is 4 lights in the parking lot and a new electrical service. That will be completed by the spring of next year as well. We have other items that are actually going to be coming up as well, which include Elm Park renovations. So we'll be looking at doing some additional Elm Park renovations in and around the Elm Park Pond or their mirrors. We've completed and had to then recomplete the playground there. If anybody happened to see that the installer did not put those in correctly, and so we had them completely remove it and put it back in. Same concept as before, poured in place surfacing that was used in all of our other projects for that playground as well. And then we're going to be doing some picnic tables and bench renovation as well, which will take place in the spring of next year. So basically what that is we're going to remove the existing cobble areas and re-put the benches and picnic tables down so that they're a little bit more sturdy and they stay in place. We've had some problems with the installation on that from the previous design. Other than that, that's the end of what we have at this point in time. I'd be happy to take any other questions or comments that you may have about any of these projects or any of our other park related items. I'd be happy to talk about anything else. I'm gonna stop
Rob,
sharing.
it's Kate McGrath. I do have one question follow-up that
Sure, go
I
ahead.
meant to ask regarding the Worcester Common project.
Yep.
Were you guys considering including curb easements for where the new handicap parking is? Since the garage was closed, the handicap parking on Franklin Street, it's really hard for people who park there with handicap to get onto the curb because there's no like access point. Were you guys considering that part of this project?
We had not. We had already completed our design and everything else by the time all of that work. That would be a transportation mobility program that would be a part of what they're doing on their end.
Okay,
just-
thank
We're,
you.
yeah, we're replacing in kind. So what's currently on site is what we're replacing.
And I'm glad to hear that. That's been in need for a while now. I was just wondering about the easement because it's really hard for people to park there, you know? It's right on the street and there's no way to get up on the curb, so. But thank you for everything.
You're welcome. Is there anything else? Well, I truly appreciate on behalf of my department, and Caesar and Tim and Bill, we appreciate and we welcome meeting with you on a regular basis, give you updates on where we are. You know, our goal really is to make our facilities as accessible as possible. And we take that very seriously in our design as well as in the work that we do. So, you know, thank you very much for having us. And, you know, please reach out again. Dawn's really good about making sure she tracks me down and sets me up for a meeting and all of that. And I'm more than happy to do it. So thank you very much.
Thank you. This is Sue.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you, Robert, for coming. We always appreciate hearing what new projects you're working on and completing things for the benefit of all our citizens. We're ready now to move on to our next agenda item, which is Jibril Yunus from the Central Massachusetts Career Center. And he is going to give us a presentation recognizing National Employment Disability Awareness Month. Jibril is the operations manager and very knowledgeable. And I look forward, I know he's on the line now, and I look forward to welcoming him and hearing what he has to say. So welcome.
Thank you, Bob. I appreciate that. I'm hoping everyone can hear me, or at least would be able to get an interpretive service to be able to communicate and listen. I'm trying to make sure that my camera is working and that I'm able to share. So just bear with me 1 second, please. All right, looks like I'm sharing. Can folks see my slides?
Yes.
Yes. All right, great. Thank you. Also, too, it seems like my camera is not working. That's been happening. We got new monitors, so I apologize for that. So if you can't see me on camera, I apologize. All right, but I'll get going anyway. So thank you guys for having me today. I'd like to talk about MassHire Central, the Career Center here. We're located right across from City Hall in downtown Worcester. We're also in Southbridge. I just want to tell you a little bit about what we do, and then just highlight some of the things that we do to just try to make sure that we're accessible to everybody. That's really our goal, in just trying to, again, serve the public. We want to make sure that we have access and you know, to all of our services for anyone who may need them. We just want to be equitable to all if we can. So the MassHire Career Centers, just kind of presentation here. I'm going to do a little welcome and overview. Again, I'm Jibril Yunus. I'm an operations manager here. I oversee our training team, our group of counselors that support job seekers with their career development goals, including accessing training opportunities, as well as I oversee our business services team. So a group of business service representatives and recruiters that support businesses primarily with their workforce needs. So that's who I am. And then, like I said, I'll give an overview of our MassHire services and offerings, and then talk more about, again, what we do to partner with other agencies and experts in the field of accessibility services and serving those who may be living with a disability. So MassHire is part of the Department of Career Services network. We are located throughout the entire state. I don't know how well you can see those little tiny dots on there, but
Excuse me for a moment.
Yes.
This is Sue. I can't see the interpreter right now. The interpreter, Tracy Hughley.
okay,
I can't see the interpreter.
okay, I'll stop. Is there anything I could do to assist with that, or would someone else be able to help?
And now Leah, we're switching to Leah. And is Leah spotlighted?
Sue said yes. I see Leah. Please continue. Thank you.
Okay, sounds good, thanks. So you can see that we're located again across the state. All these different colors here, just the different regions that are represented. This bottom one, the bottom half of Worcester County, that's the Mass Hire Central region, and those are the towns and cities that we cover here in Worcester and in Southbridge. But every Mass Hire Career Center offers virtually the same services. There's little differences here and there, but I would say that you're going to have pretty much the same experience anywhere you go, no matter where you're living in Massachusetts. So how Mass Hire can help folks is, again, with specialized programs and services for job seekers, understanding the job search pathway, understanding if training is necessary, and then job seekers being able to access training before returning to job search and trying to secure employment, and then unemployment insurance in navigating that entire system. So what do we do in a nutshell? Well, we try to take the fear and confusion out of finding a job, right? It's not easy to find a job, and depending on the economic conditions we might be facing, it could be even more difficult. So what we try to do is offer guidance and support to job seekers who may not know exactly what they need to be doing in order to find a job. Many times job seekers are coming to us and they've been long-term unemployed. Oftentimes they're coming to us, they're unemployed for the first time in decades. I hear it almost every day. Oh, I've been working for 20, 30 years. I've never been unemployed before. Last time I wrote a resume was, 15, 20 years ago, right? What do I do? So we're there to just help people, again, navigate the steps in order to find a job. We're not a staffing agency. I always want to let people know that. We're kind of in the same philosophy of, if you teach a man to fish, right, rather than give a man a fish, we're trying to help people build those job seeking skills so that they can be independent in finding work themselves. Though we do also engage employers, as I mentioned, so we do make a lot of referrals, but we're not a staffing agency. We can't guarantee you a job, but we can guarantee you that we're going to support you in looking for work. That's for sure. I can guarantee that. Okay. So a lot of times job seekers come to us and we try to figure out where they are in these little steps, right? And sometimes we may think of job search as linear, but for some folks that may not know what they want to do, we kind of want to start with an assessment. And we'll talk more about what the assessments are like. And then researching the labor market and why that's important. Developing a career action plan or the job search strategy. Maybe sometimes that includes training. And then applying for jobs once someone is marketable, qualified, and ready. And then, of course, hopefully landing that new job. So that's kind of the linear structure that, say, if I were to be working with someone who was, 19 years old, they just graduated high school, they've never had a job before, this is kind of the linear path I would take with them. Not every job seeker falls within this linear step, though. Sometimes it looks a little bit more like this, right, for some job seekers. They're coming in at any one of these points, right? And they might need support. Again, people who have been employed and skilled, educated for many, many years, now find themselves unemployed for whatever reason. They may not need to do a self-assessment. They understand what their skills are and their experience and their interests. They may even know the market, the labor market, and what that's dictating the value and availability and the desire of employers for their skills. Maybe they just need to work on a plan, right? So then we start them off here. Maybe they're interested in doing a job interview or mock interviews with us, and we can support them with that. So it really just depends on where people are at. We have a lot of different workshops that we can help those folks with, depending on where they are in the job search cycle. So again, assessments kind of help people identify their own skills. We use different tools like WorkKeys or Torque or Myers-Briggs. These are different assessment tools that we would use to help people. ONET is another one online that we would use sometimes. But basically that assessment is, again, helping people figure out what they like to do, what they would be good at, and then of course too, what would make them, financially stable. That's also a big part of it. So we're not just saying do something you'd like, right? Because we want people to go out and be gainfully employed. So it's what would you like to do that will also give you a job that's going to help you meet your needs. So that's really what the assessments are all about. Job search workshops, kind of helping people again organize their job search. I always say searching for a job should be like a part-time job at least. If you're looking for a full-time job, you should treat it, your job search, at least like a part-time job, 10 to 20 hours a week. You could be applying to jobs, tweaking and tailoring your resume, using your network. There's all types of things that you should be doing. Again, understanding applicant tracking systems, that's something that we help people figure out so that they can make sure that their resumes and applications are actually getting through to a human being on the other end. Developing their pitch. So kind of like your, elevator pitch or a 30-second commercial, we might call it. It's really just, again, how you may introduce yourself to an employer. I'd say like a job fair setting or something like that. And then, of course, too, we have a little this is a workshop that we do on its own. It's called the Mature Worker Job Fair, workshop. And it's basically for folks who may be experiencing ageism. There's obviously that's a real thing that happens. It's a barrier for some folks. So how do we kind of leverage, I think we call it maximizing your maturity now. How do we leverage people's skills and all the experience that they have to help them and not be held against them? Resume support, as I said, we can help people with resumes, cover letters, understanding how to go through those online applications. That's pretty straightforward. Networking, different workshops on how to network effectively. Also on how to use LinkedIn and to create a LinkedIn profile so we can bring people right through creating it from scratch and how to maximize your LinkedIn profile, the best practices in using it to help you find work. And then, of course, interviewing as well, interview workshops. We can do over the phone interviews with people. We even have, or we're developing new technology that would allow people to do mock interviews with AI. That's something that we're trying to acquire, so that'd be kind of interesting once we get it, but that's another thing. Interviewing is really big. And then, of course, negotiating salary is also important too. We help people try to figure out the nuances of that. We have a lot of partners that we work with, outside agencies that come to our Career Center and also offer different workshops. Sometimes these are things that, again, we're not the experts in, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about what we're not the expert in soon, but how we partner with experts. But for this, sometimes we'll be offering workshops that allow people to kind of learn more about financial literacy. We'll partner with some area banks or some other community-based organizations that focus on that. Also helping people with, figuring out identity theft situations, sometimes too, if they have their own legal issues or a criminal record, how to manage that. Starting your own small business, that's another one that we support people with. We bring in Clark University as well as the city's economic development department will come in and offer workshops. And then other skills training, so workforce preparation. We have a few different workshops that we do. One is a regular and intensive workshop called Bounce that helps people get job ready. And then soft skills. For instance, we have a cool one coming up next week where this person is going to be doing a workshop on AI technology and how it's impacting the workforce and what you can do to make sure that your skills are still relevant in a world of AI competing with workers, right? So it's really not about knowing AI technology or learning it. It's more about how do we remain relevant, I guess, in many different roles while we're also competing with AI. So a lot of really cool workshops that come into the Career Center. All right, so kind of shifting gears a little bit and talking about how we specifically support customers with disabilities. I'll say too that, we have a myriad of different specialized programs for young adults, for older adults, for different demographic groups, really, migrants and refugees. Is this people that maybe have like some sort of a special need or would need some kind of special accommodation, or again, are facing some unique barrier in entering into employment? As I mentioned before, we work with people with criminal records. That's a huge barrier, obviously. We want to design sometimes programs that can help meet their needs. And so customers with disabilities or folks who are living with disabilities are part of that group. So if someone is identifying as someone with a disability and they'd like to disclose that to us, and if they need accommodations, we have accommodations upon request. And we can make it so, again, our services are as accessible as possible. So again, we're trying to be inclusive as we can. A lot of the accommodations we have really revolve around assistive technology. So we do have things like screen readers here, JAWS. There's a few others that assist people. Again, our website is accessible for folks with visual impairments. We do have Braille. We do have large font tests and other things like that, just for people who, again, have visual impairments. We are accessible for folks with mobility issues. We have automatic doors in the front. We have an elevator. So again, we try to be as accessible as we can. Of course, nothing is always perfect, but I think we're trying to manage as best as we can, and I don't think we've run into any issues inside the Career Center that I know of. Staff expertise, we do have two staff here, two counselors who continually are getting training in disability services. One gentleman, he's a recruiter. He sits on the board of the Center for Living and Working, and we'll talk about that again later. So he's someone also who has lived experience as someone with a disability. So he has a lot of insights and often provides a lot of guidance to us as an organization on how we could be doing things better, but also supports a lot of folks with disabilities because, again, he knows the network, he knows the supports that are there for folks. Another gentleman supports people in training in particular, and he has great relationships with Mass Ability, and we'll talk more about them and how we partner with them. But he also goes to a lot of different trainings and supports the community. And then again, community collaboration. So, we connect with the City of Worcester, their Health and Human Services Task Force. We send representation to their, I believe, monthly meetings. We receive direct referrals from them for anyone who might be in need of looking for work or training. And then, of course, one of the more consistent accommodations that we get is ASL interpreters and guides for our job fairs. So we reach out to our partners and we have those folks assist us for those events. So just a quick rundown of a lot of the partnerships that kind of help folks with disabilities and support Mass Hire as we also provide support to them with their job search goals. Our Mass Ability, Mass Commission for the Blind, Center for Living and Working, Genesis Club of Worcester, Massachusetts, Central Mass Employment Collaborative, Open Sky, and Compass, also of Worcester, Access to Recovery. Excuse me.
Can you spotlight Tracy? Excuse me for the interruption.
No, that's okay, please.
Thank you. Spotlight the newest interpreter. Thank you.
Just let me know when I'm all set to go,
I
please.
can't see Tracy. One moment. Where is she? I can't find her. Where is she? I can't see Tracy. Maybe I should change. can. Yes, got it. Thank you. Thank you.
Great. Okay, thank you. As I mentioned, Open Sky and Compass, they're here in Worcester as well. And then the Access to Recovery / Paths to Empowerment program, they're a really great program through the Gavin Foundation. And we also work with them for people in recovery. And those folks would be recovering usually from substance use disorders. I know maybe traditionally we may not be looking at this as someone who has a disability, but oftentimes there are dual diagnoses and comorbidities that occur. So I hope you don't mind if I'm talking about them today. And then the City of Worcester Health and Human Services Department, as I mentioned as well. All right. Let's see. Now I feel like my page is stuck. Oh, did it go? There we go. Great. All right. So let me just cover the Massability Partnership in brief. We used to host staff here in the Worcester Career Center from Massability. Once they moved over to Route 20, I don't know. We used to be across the street from them. They just walk over, but I guess they don't want to traverse, cutting through Worcester to get over here. But they do go to our Southbridge Career Center often, and they'll work side by side with Mass Hire staff. Massability clients come into our offices and meet with their Massability counselor as well. And again, referrals are made back and forth. Oftentimes those referrals are going to grant-funded skills training that Massability and Mass Hire both share a pool of money that we can send our joint clients to training. I actually, just before I hopped on this meeting, I made a referral for someone to go study HVAC training, HVAC training, and they're very excited about that. So the impact since 2021, we've had about nearly 100 people co-enrolled. You can make that 98 now because I just sent that other guy. 70 have completed training, 32 have secured permanent employment, and 10 are currently enrolled. Again, now maybe 11 people that are currently in this program where they're being supported through trainings. A lot of the areas that we send people to are predominantly healthcare, IT, trades, and then a lot of other things. It really runs the gamut. Computer sciences, finance, manufacturing, transportation, even CDLA drivers. I think that was the last gentleman I worked with. He went off to become a CDLA driver. The Mass Commission for the Blind, again, we have a really great relationship with them. They support us with understanding and adopting a lot of the assistive technology here at the Career Center, as well as we make sure that when we have certain events going on that there is assistive technology, especially our virtual job fairs. That's one that we do for them in particular, which sounds kind of interesting, right? Like, it's like, okay, well, it's for folks with visual impairment. They're joining an online event through the computer, but actually it's quite successful because the technology allows, again, for accessibility for people with visual impairments, as well as they may have other people with them to support them. It actually is really successful. As I mentioned before, we have Braille, we have large font text for anything that we would be passing out to job seekers. Other times we may have guides as well that can be assistive guides in helping people navigate, again, any of our events. Mass Commission of the Blind, they're invited to all of our major events too. Fees are waived if there's ever a fee for anything. They're a sister agency to us. Like I said before, we're part of the Department of Career Services. So they're under the state umbrella. Of course, they're welcome to join us for anything. We offer sometimes specialized training to them for certain things that we're doing, as well as vice versa. They will send staff to us. In fact, on the 24th, which is, I believe, this Friday, correct? Yes, it's this Friday. They're going to be joining our staff meeting and doing a mini training for our staff as well. So that's happening this Friday. We both partner in engaging employers together, trying to find more opportunities for folks with visual impairments. And then also to advocating at the state level and nationally through the Mass Workforce Association and essentially lobbying legislators to try to get them to pass legislation that would support people that are receiving MCB supports, or just, again, those who are visually impaired in general. The Center for Living and Working is another agency we work with. They used to be right next to us here in the Denholm building, and then they moved, I think, to Chestnut Street, but they're still very close. We refer clients to them. They refer clients to us for job search assistance very often. We might send people their way to try to get, again, sometimes equipment, typically. They do a lot of mutual support. Again, they come to all of our events for free, offer their support to their clients at our events, as well as just promote their services in general to anyone who may need it. They do provide free ADA assessments in our facilities, which is excellent. That's really been helpful for us in understanding how we can make our space more accessible for folks with mobility issues. And then, of course, too, they also provide ASL interpreters to us, oftentimes for free. So that's really quite a blessing. We appreciate their partnership. And as I mentioned, we do have a staff person that serves on their board, and we're continually growing our partnership with them. It's great. Genesis Club, located here on Lincoln Street in Worcester, they serve adults with serious mental health issues. And oftentimes we'll be going to their site on Lincoln Street, their building, with MassHire counselors to join their job seekers workshop. For their clients who are interested in returning to work, MassHire is also there to support them and just try to bring our resources directly to them so they know what they can access and what they could take advantage of. Oftentimes we can provide one-on-one job search assistance with their clients. That could be at the clubhouse or that could be here at MassHire. And then, of course, we're always sharing upcoming hiring events, training opportunities, and job openings. We often are making connections to employers on behalf of Genesis Club and referring folks directly to Genesis Club employers that might be looking to fill areas of high turnover or entry-level positions. We did also just host a virtual information session for them, I think maybe last week or 2 weeks ago, and that was showcasing their employment supports for businesses and really their ability to highlight their transitional employment program for their clients as a resource for businesses. We also have kind of rekindled a relationship with them in the Chamber of Commerce, supporting them in going to different chamber events and also talking to the chamber about how the chamber can support Genesis Club directly in connecting with employers. And then Open Sky Compass. So they host job fairs for us twice a year in partnership with also I believe the Worcester County Sheriff's Office. So they'll host a job fair. We kind of support in getting employers there that are open to hiring folks with disabilities. I mean, again, everybody, as we know, right, legally they need to, but we really want to make sure that we have employers that not only are willing but are excited to hire folks of all abilities, right? That's how we try to frame it with employers. We're looking at people for their strength-based approach, hiring people based on their abilities, their ability to complete the job effectively. So once we kind of frame it in that way, and employers know that, hey, I'm really here just to hire competent, skilled workers, all that other stuff just kind of goes away a little bit, and that really helps. So anyways, that's what we do with Open Sky. We're really kind of changing the narrative for employers. We're getting employers that are excited to be a part of a job fair where they have access to talented workers. We do that twice a year, and we usually have a great turnout of employers and a great turnout of job seekers. Again, it's open to anybody with disabilities, also folks in recovery and anyone who might be justice involved also. And again, more often than not, those folks do have some type of diagnosis. You could see kind of the numbers there. Oftentimes it's 20 to 30 employers we have and over 100 job seekers per event. We do make a lot of referrals back and forth with Open Sky as well. All right, so the Access to Recovery Path to Empowerment program, they're another program too that's really great. This is in-house here. This program is supported by the Gavin Foundation. It's a 3-week intensive training for people who are in stages of early recovery. They're coming from recovery homes. They come directly to MassHire. They stay here the entire day for 3 weeks, 5 days a week. And they do a lot of job readiness training, self-awareness, soft skills. They're really getting ready to get back into the world of work. And they need a lot of support. Luckily, we have 3 great staff that run this program. We serve about 8 to 12 people per class. There's about 11 classes a year, and they get really great benefits, including stipends, laptops, and you can just see right there in the middle of the big text, that in total about 775 participants have graduated from the program since we took it on about 8 years ago. So we really serve a lot of people in this, and these folks are really all mostly from the Worcester community. It's excellent. Again, once they kind of move on from the program, they continue to work with MassHire and get support on things like returning to school, getting their GED, going to college, getting other jobs, other hard skill training. We're here for the long run with them, but that's just kind of the intensive startup, the launching pad, if you will. And we've had great return to work numbers so far. That's just this calendar year. I don't know what all time is, but we've had about 30 people just this year say that they've returned to full-time gainful employment, which is excellent. Okay, I may have missed one. Hold on one second. Did I talk about the Central Mass Employment Collaborative? Maybe that slide didn't make it here, but I would be remiss if I forgot them. They're excellent. So the Central Mass Employment Collaborative is a group that's facilitated by Riverside Community Care. And it's a group of agencies similar to all of these. I think every agency that's listed up on this screen right now is part of that Central Mass Employment Collaborative. It's just a collection of agencies that support individuals with disabilities of all types. Again, the common denominator is that all the agencies are supporting people with their employment goals. And the Central Mass Employment Collaborative goes out and makes more employer relationships for all the agencies to engage with and be able to refer their job seekers to for employment opportunities. It's really a great program. They awarded MassHire this past year with an award saying we were one of the most reliable participants of the collaboration, and we really, really appreciated that. We're always trying to bring more information and resources to them. We've done specialized job fairs just for that group and their clients. We called it the All Abilities Job Fair. We also do workshops for their folks as well. So again, that's a great relationship. Sorry that slide got deleted or didn't make it on somehow. All right, going back to the end. Just, what we try to do is, like I said in the beginning, we're trying to build an inclusive, accessible, office space and a workforce for everybody. We understand that, it seems like it may sound monumental, but we could probably more easily change society in some ways to be more accommodating than have to come up with all these crazy inventions and technology just to try to make someone individually close the gap and reduce the barriers. So we're trying to continue, again, the conversations and help inform employers too of their ability to be more inclusive and also offer opportunities to people that they may not typically think would be able to do the work or could do the work, or they just wouldn't even know that these agencies are out there supporting these job seekers and that there's really an untapped talent pool that they're not accessing. So we're trying to educate employers. We're trying to help shift the narrative there, again, reduce stigma, really platform all those agencies that I mentioned before, allow them to tell their stories, allow them to platform their own clients. Their clients tell their stories, talk about the successes, talk about all the supports that are in place for people, so that we can just get more people job opportunities. That's really what we're trying to do. Again, strengthening our partnerships, deepening our own knowledge, awareness, and expertise. That's something that we'd like to do too. We used to have a grant to have more. I think we had our own vocational rehabilitation counselor on site many years ago. We had a grant to hire someone. We haven't had that kind of opportunity recently. Hoping one day that we can get a certified vocational rehabilitation counselor in here. Again, just trying to expand all of our services and opportunities as best as we can, and then celebrate and support success stories. As I mentioned, once we have some success, we try to adopt that as a best practice if possible, and replicate it for others. That's it in a nutshell. I hope I didn't take too much time, folks. But if anybody has any questions.
No, that was perfect, Jabril. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Any comments or questions from members of the commission? Kate, you came on screen. Did you have a question or a comment?
No,
Sue,
I
you
just
had your
want-
hand up. Go ahead, Sue.
Yes, so that was a lot of information. Oh my gosh, so thorough, so nice to see. And there were some things that I would like to just clarify. So Massability, I know, focuses on the hearing population, but then there are deaf counselors who are able to accommodate those deaf clients. So I just wanted to make sure that you were aware of that. It is under the branch of Massability, but they do have their own deaf counselors and that deaf group that they support. So I know you also mentioned the Mass Commission for the Blind. I wanted to make sure that you're aware there is another group for deafblind under that commission as well. There are differing needs between somebody who's blind versus deaf and blind. And then the Massachusetts Commission for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing, I think you didn't mention that in your presentation, but they do have a substance abuse and addiction coalition, and maybe that's an opportunity for collaboration between you and pulling somebody in for a workshop. There's also another organization called Deaf Inc., and they work with deaf and deafblind people. And what's the word I'm looking for? They also work with co-navigators who are able to help somebody who is deafblind go out shopping, formerly called SSP. It's now called a co-navigator. They also work with personal care assistants. So they're able to help that population. So I just wanted to make sure that you were aware of these different deaf populations that are under the umbrellas of other agencies. I think it's so important for you to think about. So Mass Commission for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing, Deaf Inc., Massability. I think that those are all worth mentioning. And again, these are all people who are deaf, so they don't need an ASL interpreter to be able to work with these different groups because they are deaf and signing an ASL. Just making sure I went through Mass Commission, Deaf Inc. Yeah, there'll be more that you pick up as you meet with them. They'll refer you to other agencies as well. I just think those are so important for you to have in mind.
Thank you.
They
I
can also
appreciate
help
that.
you with how to hire interpreters, teaching different employers how to work with interpreters, so they're able to help you on that front as well as
Thank you.
providing interpreters for those on-the-job trainings. So there's a lot of facets that are really beneficial. Oh, one more, I just remembered. Center for Living and Working, they also have a lot of opportunities and resources for deaf folks. So it's a great partnership to have with them.
Thank you for that. Yes, we do go to the Mass Commission of Deaf and Hard of Hearing, oftentimes for interpreters as well. So I really highlighted those places we have great relationships with. This is not inclusive of everyone that we work with in terms of receiving services. These are just the folks where I feel so comfortable I can just, walk over to their office and people know us, right? That's the relationship, the partnership. We do utilize a lot of other services, of course. Catholic Charities offers support, Easter Seals, we refer people there. There's so many others. Center for Living and Working was very helpful for my wife, who's deaf. They offered us a lot of assistive technology and things like, alarm systems for our apartment and things like that. So yeah, we know a lot about these other places too, but there were a few that I wasn't as familiar with, so I appreciate that. Viability is another one that we partner with very closely. I just, for the sake of time, highlighting our top partners. Thank you. But that's great suggestions. Thank you so much.
Yeah, just some things to jot down for future reference in case you want to go to those different organizations.
I do,
Just to
and
add to
I
your pool of
jotted it all down.
resources.
Thank you.
Of course.
Great. Any other comments or questions from members of the commission or members of the public? Was a lot to take in, but I'm wondering whether, Jibril, if you can make your PowerPoint available to Patricia, just so we have this as
Yes,
a
I believe
resource.
I did
for us.
share it with Patricia and Don. Bob, they do have it, I believe.
Okay, great. Perfect.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks so much, folks. I appreciate your time. Thank you. Sorry I couldn't be on video.
Thank you.
Camera's not working. Thanks.
Okay. In terms of our agenda and our invited guests, we had those two, Robert Antonelli and Jibril Yunus. And so now we're in the closing phase of our meeting. One of our invited guests was not able to be here, and hopefully she'll be able to be here with us either in December or January. That was Leah Bradley from the Central Massachusetts Housing Alliance. So we're looking forward to hearing from her in the future. Agenda item number 7 is a review of AAB application and notices. There were none received this month, so there's no action necessary on our part. We always ask as an additional agenda item whether members of the commission have any suggestions for future agenda items. So is there someone that you're thinking of that you'd like to see invited, or a topic that could be researched and someone invited or discussed by the commission? Anyone have any thoughts?
To the chair, John Finn.
Yeah, go ahead, John.
I have a friend who is bedridden and she lives in Spencer. The problem is she needs to go to doctors in Worcester, but no ambulances will bring her to Worcester. I know that might be more of a Spencer type of problem, but it says she doesn't even get to see doctors because they won't bring her into Worcester. I don't know.
So they only bring her to doctors in Spencer?
Yes.
Wow. I've never heard of that. Has anyone else heard of that before? Patricia or Don, do you have a suggestion where he can advocate to try to?
I would say try calling, this is Patricia, try calling the town of Spencer and talking with someone. They may have someone in place there. They probably have an ADA coordinator in Spencer, or at least a part-time ADA coordinator, and talk to them about options. I have heard of that before. I don't know if this individual lives in assisted living or skilled nursing or whatever, but I've heard of it quite a lot in situations like that, where the ambulance will only take you or transport you to either a certain distance or a particular hospital or facility.
Hmm,
Okay, thank you very much.
is that helpful, John?
Yes, it is.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So this is Dee.
Yeah, go ahead, Dee.
Hi. So I just wanted to ask, does she have to go in an ambulance?
Well, she's bedridden, so she has to be on a stretcher when she goes.
Okay. Okay. I was just thinking of our paratransit, but I figured they're probably just wheelchairs or people that are ambulatory. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you have your hand up, Sue. Go ahead.
Yes. I have heard that Spencer seems that they have a unique set of rules. So I do know there's a family with 2 kids. They were in crisis there and they needed to go to the hospital in Spencer. And there was some rigmarole. It was about the child. So the child was maybe 7, 8 years old. And the child had to go over to UMass. And I guess they made it in an ambulance. And I think maybe it was the doctor's order. I'm not sure. So my suggestion is to keep trying, keep investigating. I like that idea of reaching out to the ADA coordinator. Just don't stop trying. Get a clear answer and just let them know, you know, they're a resident, they're paying taxes, they have a right, and they should be able to find a way for your friend. You just got to keep trying. I know this that I'm talking about just happened about a month ago, and they ended up transporting them to Worcester. And it was from, again, the same town, Spencer.
Okay, thank you
So-
very much.
Thank you, Sue. Kate, you came on camera. Did you want to say something?
No, but I know there is an organization. So yes, I do want to say we can talk about it if this is all going to be on the agenda. But there is an organization called BILT, BILT, the Independent Living Together. They may offer some sort of help to your friend.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other thoughts in terms of an agenda item or as a guest speaker? If not, I'm sure Patricia and Don will be busy over the next couple of months working to find some things for us. Just as an announcement, we will not be meeting in the month of November. So our next meeting will be in December on Tuesday, December 16th. In terms of a couple of quick announcements, the WRTA Transportation Advisory Planning Group is meeting on Wednesday, October 22nd, which is tomorrow, from 1 to 2:30 at the WRTA Hub. And there is a presentation, a disability presentation on hidden disabilities on Tuesday, October 28th, which would be next week, from 11 to 12 at City Hall. And an emergency preparedness tip, click for a list of items and other helpful tips in terms of an emergency. That website is ready.gov. That's ready.gov. And if there's no other agenda items or announcements, we're ready to take a roll call. Actually, a motion to adjourn, a second, and then a roll call. So is there someone that would like to make a motion to adjourn?
John Finn, I make a motion to adjourn.
Okay. And is there a second?
Do the chair, Kate McGrath. I make the second to adjourn.
Okay. Thanks.
So,
And
thank you. We have a motion to adjourn at 6 o'clock. Chair Robert Bureau,
bye.
Member John Finn, Member Steve Stolberg,
Aye.
Member Kate McGrath.
Kate McGrath, aye.
Thank you. The motion carries. We are adjourned at 6 o'clock. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Good night.